cadences regarding the grade 4 UNISA theory of music syllabus. We are deep diving into imperfect cadences today, so that is from tonic to dominant. Now cadences of course refer to our ending points, either of phrases or sections, movements, even whole works, whole pieces, and we are trying to harmonize a cadence, and a cadence happens between two chords. We're not thinking about any decorating for the time being, we're just thinking about the one chord to the other at the end of a phrase, so to speak. And I have already made a video on perfect cadences, so please go ahead and watch that video just to make sure you have a foundation of cadences in general. And also, good news for you, perfect cadences, imperfect cadences, and plagal cadences have the same sort of rules surrounding it, just with a little bit of a tweak, you'll see now. So let's hop into it. We're going to do an example in a major key and then a minor key, and I have put them in time signatures for you just so that we can understand how to write this in other note values, not just semi-breeze. And also we do need to make sure of our stem direction, so when we are in a soprano voice, our stem goes up. When we're in the alto voice, our stem goes down. Tenor voice, our stem goes up, and bass voice, our stem goes down, if we so have a note with a stem. So first things first, our key here is F major, because of course we're in a major key. We have to outline our chord notes, spell them correctly. So tonic in F major is FAC. Of course, dominant is then CEG. My rules surrounding imperfect cadences. Same as with perfect, I have to double the root note in each of my chords. So I'm doubling the F there, doubling the C there. I have to put my root note in the bass voice, of course. So I'm going to have an F and I'm going to have a C. Then I already have an F and an E given to me in the soprano, so that can go away. Our very next thing after putting the root note in the bass is our note in common. Okay, so I can see that I still need to fill in my full-on tonic chord. So let me put my A over there, let me put my C there. My note in common is that C, I can see it over there. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that note in common. The remaining two voices now lead stepwise, but instead of leading stepwise up, as with the perfect cadences, they now lead stepwise down. Easy, they're still stepwise. So if you just remember that for these normal cadences, everything except interrupted, they do move stepwise. The remaining two voices that are not common. So we have our bass notes, which just have to be the roots because we're in root position here. Then we have our note in common. Then the remaining two voices will move stepwise. With perfect cadences, they move stepwise up, and with imperfect cadences, they move stepwise down. So we already have a stepwise down movement here from F to E. There's no other note for me to write here except for the G, so I'm going to write the G, and that does go stepwise down. So we have F to E and then A to G, that's stepwise down. We're good to go. Then we move on to a minor key. Now of course the key with 3 flats in minor form is baby C, so C minor there. And yet again we're going to outline the chord notes C, E flat, G, and then we're going to have G, B, D. I'm just going to indicate this B with a natural there because you know that's our raised 7th, so that I remember to raise the B flat that exists here to a B natural in my chord. So rules, we have to double the root in both. Good, so C and G. Okay, then the root notes have to go in the bass, which is already a given. Ooh. So now we have to compose or write down, outline the rest of the chord. Okay, so for the first time we have free reign, yay! Because with the soprano you're kind of hooked in. Yes, your root notes must go in the bass, but then yeah, your soprano voice is given, so you sort of have a limitation of where to go with the alto and tenor. But of course over here we have free reign, so I am going to have a high E flat. I am going to have a C over here. I'm going to have a G. Ooh, we're singing very high, but just because that is possible. We'll see another possibility in a moment. Okay, so that's going to be my chord. First things first. Root note in the bass, that's great. Note in common. Okay, so my note in common I can see is G. So that top G is going to be in common. Then the other two remaining voices, so in this case now it's going to be alto and tenor, they have to move stepwise down. So my C is going to go to my B, natural. Remember to raise your 7th. And then my E flat is going to go down to D. And there you have it. No parallels, no anything. We follow the rules. Root notes in the bass, note in common. Other two voices lead down stepwise. Now let's see how we can do this again, just with some different patterns. And we're just going to remind ourselves that, of course, imperfect cadences refer to tonic to dominant movement in major and minor keys. Okay, so we said we had C, E flat, G, we double the root. We said we had G, B natural, D, double the root. Okay, so now I'm going to outline my chord a bit differently. I want my top note to be C. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this G over there and the E flat over there. Okay, so the stems are just doing some stuff, but the notes itself, they don't overlap or anything like that. Our voice movement is fine over here, so let's get to our nice voice leading. So note in common, it's our G. So here we are. So if you are singing the same note, you're going to go ahead and have the bass's stem going down, the tenor's stem going up. They can sing like that. It gets a bit interesting when you're doing this in semi-brief, because if you have two voices singing the same notes, you will actually have two semi-briefs next to each other like that, which kind of look like eyes, and it's kind of weird to have that, but that is how we figure stuff in music. Okay, so we have the bass and the tenor singing the same voice. That's cool. And we are going to then have the other two voices lead down stepwise. So my C is going to go to my B natural, remember that B natural, and then my E is going to go down to my D. And then we've had all of this, we followed the correct pattern, no parallels. And this is the way to perfectly do your cadences. So as a recap, we are going to double the root in both chords. We have our root note in the bass. Then wherever our other voices lie, we keep our note in common, common. The other two voices will lead stepwise down. And that is your pattern for imperfect cadences. So I hope that this video has helped you. All the best with your cadence writing for UNISA Grade 4 Theory of Music.